Do you feel stuck in emotional patterns that drain you, that keep you from living with lightness and joy? Perhaps you carry resentments from the past, constantly criticize yourself, or simply don't know how to truly begin healing. I understand completely, and I want you to know that you are not alone on this journey. In this video, you're going to discover practical and loving steps toward emotional wellness. Based on the transformative teachings of Louise Hay, we'll explore together how small daily actions can create deep and lasting healing. You'll learn about the power of your thoughts, the importance of self-love, how to release resentments and criticism, and so much more. And there's something special. In the middle of the video, there will be a key moment where you can consolidate this learning and join a community of people who, just like you, are committed to healing and growth. At the end, we'll do together a powerful, practical exercise that will help you begin your transformation immediately. Stay with me, and let's walk together on this journey of love, healing, and discovery. You deserve to live in peace, and I'm going to show you how to start right now. You create your reality. Have you ever stopped to notice how your thoughts shape every moment of your day? Louise Hay always reminded us that our thoughts are like seeds planted in the garden of our mind, and each one has the power to blossom into real experiences. When you wake up in the morning and think today is going to be difficult, you're programming your energy to encounter obstacles. But when you choose to think, I'm open to the blessings of this day, something magical happens. Your emotional reality isn't something that simply happens to you. It's something you create, thought by thought, choice by choice. And this is a liberating truth, because it means you have the power to transform your inner life. According to Louise Hay, the quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our emotional life. If you constantly catch yourself in patterns of self-criticism, judgment, or fear, you're feeding soil where only thorns can grow. Imagine Sarah, a 35-year-old woman who always told herself, I'm not good enough. She carried this thought as an absolute truth, and it manifested in difficult relationships, missed opportunities, and a constant sense of inadequacy. But when Sarah began to observe her thoughts with compassion, she realized she was repeating patterns learned in childhood. She wasn't really not good enough. She just believed it. And beliefs can be changed. Dear one, the first step toward emotional healing is becoming aware of the thoughts that inhabit your mind. You don't need to judge them or fight against them. Just observe with gentleness. Ask yourself, does this thought serve me? Does it nourish me or diminish me? Louise Hay taught us that we can choose new thoughts at any moment, and that choice is the beginning of transformation. When you notice a negative thought, you can simply say, thank you for sharing, but I choose to think differently now. It's like changing the channel on the television of your mind. You're not stuck with any program. You have the remote control in your hands, and every time you choose a more loving thought, you're planting a new seed of well-being. Allow yourself to say internally, I choose thoughts that nourish and elevate me. I am the creator of my emotional reality. These words have tremendous power because they reaffirm your capacity for choice. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the gardener of your mental garden. And just as a gardener cares for her plants with love, you can care for your thoughts with the same tenderness. When you water the seeds of love, gratitude, and acceptance, they grow and flourish, transforming the entire landscape of your emotional life. It's a gentle process that requires patience and practice, but every small step counts. The truth is that you are always creating your reality, consciously or unconsciously or unconsciously. The question is, what are you creating? If you look at your emotional life today and don't like what you see, Know that you have the power to plant new seeds. Start small, with one thought at a time. Instead of, I never succeed, try, I'm learning and growing. Instead of, everything goes wrong for me, try, I'm open to the solutions life offers me. Louise Hay showed us that these small changes in thoughts create waves of transformation that reach every corner of our existence. And the most beautiful part is that you don't need to wait for anyone or anything to begin. You can start right now, in this exact moment, choosing a kinder thought about yourself. The secret of healing self-love is not selfishness. It's the foundation of all true healing. Louise Hay always said that when you love yourself, when you truly accept and appreciate yourself, everything in your life begins to work better. Think about it. How can you expect others to love you if you don't love yourself first? How can you offer compassion to the world if you have no compassion for yourself? Self-love is like oxygen on an airplane. You need to put on your own mask before helping others. And that's not being selfish, it's being wise. When you fill yourself with love, it naturally overflows to everyone around you. But when your cup is empty, you have nothing to offer, not to yourself, nor to anyone else. Many of us were taught that loving yourself is vanity, that we should always put others first. But Louise Hay showed us that this belief is one of the roots of emotional suffering. When you neglect yourself, when you ignore your needs and desires, you're sending a powerful message to the universe. I'm not important. I don't deserve care. And the universe, always generous, responds accordingly. You attract situations and people that reflect this belief. Jennifer, a dedicated teacher, spent her days caring for everyone around her, but never reserved a moment for herself. She felt exhausted, resentful, and empty, until one day she realized she was waiting for others to give her the love she was denying herself. When she began to treat herself with the same kindness she offered others, everything changed. Self-love begins with small acts of kindness toward yourself. It can be as simple as taking a relaxing bath, preparing a nutritious meal, or saying no when your body asks for rest. According to Louise Hay, every time you honor your needs, you're practicing self-love. Every time you look in the mirror and say something kind, you're planting seeds of acceptance. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Maybe today you look in the mirror and say, I'm learning to love myself. Tomorrow it might be, I deserve care and attention. And gradually, these words become truths you feel in your heart. Self-love is not a destination. It's a daily journey of loving choices. Allow yourself to affirm with conviction, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. I am worthy of all love and care. This is one of the most powerful affirmations Louise Hay left us, and it has the power to transform your life from the inside out. When you truly believe you're worthy of love, you stop accepting crumbs in relationships. You stop overloading yourself to prove your worth. You stop criticizing yourself mercilessly. You begin to treat yourself as the precious person you truly are. And this doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of deconstructing old beliefs and building new ones. But every step in this direction is a victory. Every moment of self-care is a celebration. Self-love is the heart of healing, because when you love yourself, everything else aligns. Your relationships improve because you establish healthy boundaries. Your health improves because you care for your body with respect. Your career flourishes because you believe in your worth. Louise Hay lived this truth and showed us it's possible. She taught us that no matter what happened in the past, no matter how many times you were rejected or hurt, you can always choose to love yourself now, and that love is the key that opens all the doors of healing. So, dear one, begin today. Look at yourself with eyes of compassion. Treat yourself with the kindness you deserve, and watch how your emotional life begins to flourish in ways you never imagined possible. If this insight touched your heart, if you're feeling that self-love is truly the key you've been searching for, I would love for you to join this community of healing and transformation. Click subscribe and turn on the bell to receive more content that will nourish your soul. Leave a like if you're committed to your self-love journey, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. And tell me in the comments what resonated most with you about self-love. What small act of kindness will you do for yourself today? I can't wait to read your reflections and walk alongside you on this healing journey. Releasing the poison resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Louise Hay taught us that when we hold on to hurt, anger, or resentment, the only person who truly suffers is ourselves. These feelings settle in our body, in our mind, creating energetic blocks that prevent the natural flow of life. Have you ever noticed how heavy you feel when you're holding a grudge against someone? How your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, your shoulders tense? This is no coincidence. According to Louise Hay, our unresolved emotions manifest physically, creating discomfort and even disease. Resentment is one of the most destructive emotional poisons because it keeps us trapped in the past, repeatedly reliving the pain someone caused us. Criticism, especially self-criticism, is another form of emotional violence we practice against ourselves. How many times a day do you criticize yourself? How many times do you say things to yourself that you would never say to a dear friend? You're so stupid. You never do anything right. You're ugly. You're worthless. These cruel words create deep wounds in your self-esteem and emotional well-being. Louise Hay discovered in her own healing work that self-criticism was at the root of many of her problems. She realized she had learned to criticize herself since childhood, and that this cruel inner voice was sabotaging her happiness. When she began to replace criticism with compassion, her life transformed completely, and the same can happen for you. Michael was a successful executive who, on the outside, seemed to have everything under control, but inside, he carried deep resentment toward his father, who had been absent and critical during his childhood. This resentment manifested in angry outbursts at work, health problems, and an inability to connect emotionally with his own family. When Michael began working with Louise Hay's teachings, he realized he was allowing the pain of the past to poison his present. He couldn't change what his father had done, but he could choose to release the resentment and move forward. And that's exactly what he did, step by step, with great gentleness toward himself. Undoing the knots of resentment and criticism requires courage and practice. Begin by observing when these patterns appear. When you catch yourself criticizing yourself, pause and ask, would I speak this way to someone I love? If the answer is no, then choose kinder words. When you feel resentment arising, acknowledge, I'm feeling anger, and that's okay. But I choose not to cling to this feeling. Louise Hay taught us that we can acknowledge our emotions without identifying with them. You can feel anger without being an angry person. You can feel resentment without letting it define who you are. Repeat to yourself, I release all resentment and criticism. I choose peace and compassion. These words are like a healing balm for your wounded soul. The liberating truth is that you don't need to carry these heavy burdens. Resentment and criticism are choices, even if they don't seem to be. And if they're choices, you can make different choices. You can choose to let go, to forgive, to be kind, not because of the other person, but for yourself, because you deserve to live free, light, and at peace. Louise Hay showed us that when we release resentment, we create space for love, joy, and healing to enter. And when we replace self-criticism with self-acceptance, we become our own best friends. our greatest supporters. This is the path to true emotional wellness, and you're ready to walk it, one gentle step at a time. The key to freedom forgiveness is one of the most precious gifts you can give yourself. Louise Hay always reminded us that forgiving doesn't mean agreeing with what happened or saying it's okay. Forgiving is releasing the emotional weight you carry. It's letting go of the chains that bind you to the past. When you forgive, you're not doing a favor for the person who hurt you. You're freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. Think of forgiveness as opening the windows of a room that's been closed for years. Light enters, fresh air circulates, and you can finally breathe again. Without forgiveness, you remain trapped in a cycle of pain, repeatedly reliving the hurts and feeding wounds that never heal. But with forgiveness, you allow yourself to move forward, light and free. According to Louise Hay, forgiveness begins with the willingness to forgive. You don't need to feel like forgiving. You just need to be willing to consider the possibility. Often, we think forgiving is something that happens instantly, like pressing a button. But actually, forgiveness is a process, a journey you walk step by step. It can start with a simple thought, I'm willing to forgive, even if you don't feel it completely, even if there's still anger and pain. This willingness is the first step. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the tree immediately, but you trust it will grow with time, and it will grow. Dear one, if you continue nurturing this intention with love and patience. Emily carried deep hurt toward her mother, who had been critical and controlling throughout her life. This hurt affected all her relationships, especially with other women. Emily constantly felt defensive, expecting to be judged or rejected. When she discovered Louise Hay's work, she realized she was allowing the pain of the past to control her present. She began to practice forgiveness, not because her mother deserved it, but because she herself deserved peace. Emily wrote letters she never sent, expressing all the pain and anger she felt. Then she wrote letters of forgiveness, releasing the hurt and choosing to move forward. It was a long and sometimes painful process, but each step brought her closer to the emotional freedom she so longed for. Forgiveness also includes forgiving yourself, and this can be even harder than forgiving others. How many times do you punish yourself for past mistakes? How many times do you relive moments of shame or regret, wishing you could go back in time and do things differently? Louise Hay taught us that we all did the best we could with the knowledge and awareness we had at that moment. You didn't know then what you know now. You were doing the best possible with the tools you had, and that's enough. Allow yourself to say with tenderness, I forgive myself completely. I release all judgment and guilt. I am free to live in peace. These words are like a loving embrace you give yourself, acknowledging your humanity and your journey. Forgiveness doesn't happen once and for all. It's a daily practice. There will be days when you feel you've forgiven completely, and others when the pain returns. And that's okay. Every time you choose to forgive again, you're strengthening this emotional muscle. You're becoming freer, lighter, more capable of living fully in the present. Louise Hay showed us that forgiveness is the key to deep emotional healing. When you forgive, you open space in your heart for love, joy, and peace. You release energy that was trapped in the past and can use it to create a brighter future. So, dear one, begin today. Choose a person, a situation, or even yourself, and say, I'm willing to forgive, and watch how this simple willingness begins to transform your life from the inside out. Who lives inside you? Before we continue, I want you to know that soon we'll do together a powerful practical exercise that will help you apply everything we're learning. Stay with me until the end, because this practice could be the turning point in your emotional healing journey. Inside you lives a child who carries all the memories, emotions, and experiences of your childhood. Louise Hay taught us that many of our emotional wounds have roots in childhood, when we were vulnerable and absorbed everything around us like sponges. This inner child is still there, waiting to be seen, heard, and loved. When you feel rejected, inadequate, or afraid, it's often this inner child who's feeling these emotions. She's asking for your attention, your care, your love. And true emotional healing happens when you finally respond to this call, when you turn inward and embrace this part of yourself that was neglected or wounded. According to Louise Hay, most of us grew up in environments where we didn't receive all the love, acceptance, and validation we needed. Perhaps your parents were too busy, or emotionally unavailable, or even critical and abusive. Perhaps you learned that your needs weren't important, that your emotions were inconvenient, that you needed to be perfect to be loved. These messages became engraved in your inner child, creating deep beliefs about who you are and what you deserve. And these beliefs continue influencing your adult life in ways you may not even realize. When you sabotage yourself, when you accept less than you deserve, when you're afraid to be seen, it's your inner child acting from these old wounds. Rebecca always had difficulty trusting people and opening up emotionally. She kept everyone at a distance, afraid of being abandoned or rejected. When she began exploring her inner child with Louise Hay's teachings, she realized that at 5 years old she had been left at a boarding school, feeling completely abandoned by her parents. That frightened little girl still lived inside her, controlling her choices and relationships. Rebecca began doing healing work with her inner child, talking to her, comforting her, assuring her that now she was safe and loved. Gradually, Rebecca began to open up, to trust, to allow people to get close. Healing her inner child completely transformed her capacity to connect and love. Healing your inner child is an act of deep love. Begin by closing your eyes and imagining yourself as a child. See that little girl or little boy you were. What is she feeling? What does she need? Perhaps she needs to hear that she's loved, that she's enough, that she doesn't need to be perfect. Speak to her with the gentlest voice you have. Say, "I see you, I hear you, I love you exactly as you are." Louise Hay taught us that we can become the loving parents our inner child always needed. We can give ourselves the acceptance, validation, and love we didn't receive. Repeat with tenderness, "I embrace my inner child with love and compassion. I heal the wounds of the past and live fully in the present." These words are like a healing balm that reaches the deepest parts of you. When you heal your inner child, something magical happens. You stop reacting to the present from the wounds of the past. You stop seeking in others the validation only you can give yourself. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and become the conscious creator of your life. Louise Hay lived this transformation and showed us it's possible, no matter how painful your childhood was. You can choose today to be the loving presence your inner child always needed. You can give her what she didn't receive, and in doing so, you free yourself from the chains of the past and become truly free to live, love, and flourish in the present. This is one of the most beautiful and transformative journeys you can undertake, and every step you take in this direction is a precious victory. Words that transform affirmations are powerful transformation tools that Louise Hay gifted us. They are positive statements in the present tense that reprogram your subconscious mind, replacing old limiting beliefs with new loving truths. When you repeat an affirmation with intention and feeling, you're planting a seed of light in your consciousness. And just as a seed needs time, water, and sun to grow, your affirmations need repetition, faith, and emotion to manifest in your reality. Words have power, dear one. They create worlds. And when you choose words that elevate you, that nourish you, that remind you of your true essence, you're literally recreating your life from the inside out. According to Louise Hay, the resistance you feel when saying an affirmation is exactly where the healing is. If you say, "I love myself," and feel a tightness in your chest, an inner voice that says, "That's not true," you've found a deep belief that needs to be transformed. Don't give up. Keep repeating the affirmation, even if you don't completely believe it at first. Your subconscious mind is listening, absorbing, and gradually, the new belief begins to take root. It's like learning a new language. At first, it seems strange and uncomfortable, but with practice, it becomes natural. Affirmations work the same way. The more you repeat them, the more they become part of who you are. David was a talented artist who struggled with the belief that he wasn't good enough. He sabotaged his own opportunities, was afraid to show his work, and lived in constant self-criticism. When he discovered Louise Hay's affirmations, he began repeating daily, "I am talented and creative. My work is valuable and appreciated." At first, he felt ridiculous saying these words because his mind insisted otherwise, but he persisted. He wrote the affirmation on Post-its and stuck them around the house. He repeated it out loud every morning in front of the mirror, and slowly, something began to change. He began to believe, he began to act according to this new belief, and his artistic life flourished in ways he never imagined possible. For affirmations to be truly effective, you need to feel them, not just say them mechanically. When you affirm, "I deserve abundance," pause and feel this truth in your body. Imagine what it would be like to live in abundance. Allow the emotion of gratitude and joy to fill your heart. Louise Hay taught us that emotion is the fuel that gives power to affirmations. You can say 1,000 times, "I am happy," but if you don't connect with the feeling of happiness, the words remain empty. So when you practice your affirmations, do it with presence, with intention, with love. Say to yourself, "I accept the good in my life now. I am worthy of all the blessings the universe has for me," and feel these words reverberating in every cell of your being. Affirmations are seeds of light you plant every day in the garden of your consciousness. Some will sprout quickly, others will take longer, but each affirmation you make is an act of self-love, a declaration that you deserve a better, happier, fuller life. Louise Hay transformed her own life with affirmations, healing herself from cancer and creating an existence full of love, purpose, and joy. And she showed us that we all have this same power within us. So begin today, right now. Choose an affirmation that resonates with what you most need to hear. It might be, "I am loved," "I am safe," "I trust life," or any other that touches your heart. Repeat it throughout the day, especially when you feel fear or doubt. And watch how these seeds of light begin to flourish, transforming your emotional reality into something more beautiful than you ever dreamed. Brick by brick, emotional strength doesn't mean being hard or insensitive. It means having the capacity to go through life's storms without falling apart. Louise Hay taught us that we build this strength through small daily practices of self-care, self-love, and awareness. It's like building a house brick by brick. Every loving choice you make, every time you honor your needs, every moment you choose positive thoughts, you're placing another brick in your emotional fortress. And over time, you create a solid foundation that sustains you, no matter what life brings. This fortress doesn't protect you from feeling emotions. It gives you the capacity to feel them fully and still remain centered and balanced. According to Louise Hay, emotional strength begins with the commitment to care for yourself as a priority, not as a luxury. This means establishing healthy boundaries, saying no when necessary, and reserving time for activities that nourish your soul. Many people think caring for yourself is selfishness, but actually, it's responsibility. You can't give what you don't have. If your well is empty, you have no water to offer. So filling your own well is essential. It can be through meditation, walks in nature, reading, art, or simply moments of silence and reflection. What matters is that you're consciously nurturing your emotional well-being every day, even if just for a few minutes. Sophia was a dedicated nurse who spent her days caring for others, but never for herself. She was constantly exhausted, emotionally drained, and beginning to feel resentment toward the work she once loved. When she discovered Louise Hay's teachings, she realized she had completely neglected her own emotional strength. She started small, 5 minutes of conscious breathing in the morning, a short walk at lunch, and saying no to extra shifts when she was exhausted. Gradually, she built a self-care routine that strengthened her capacity to deal with stress. Sophia realized that the more she cared for herself, the more energy and compassion she had to offer her patients. Her emotional strength didn't make her less sensitive. It made her more capable of being sensitive without breaking. Building emotional strength also involves developing a practice of gratitude and presence. Louise Hay always reminded us that the present moment is where life happens, and when you're fully present, you can handle anything. Anxiety lives in the future, depression lives in the past, but peace lives in the now. Practice bringing your attention to the present moment several times a day. Feel your feet on the ground, your breath going in and out, the sounds around you, and cultivate gratitude for life's small blessings. Say to yourself, I am strong and resilient. I have everything I need within me to handle any challenge. This affirmation strengthens your confidence in your own capacity to navigate life with grace and courage. The truth is, you're stronger than you imagine. You've already gone through so many storms, already overcome so many challenges, and each one taught you something, strengthened you in some way. Louise Hay showed us that we can choose to see challenges as opportunities for growth, as chances to strengthen our emotional resilience. When you build your emotional strength consciously, step by step, day after day, you become capable of living with more peace, joy, and confidence. You stop being shaken by every wind that blows and become like a tree with deep roots, flexible but firm. And this is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, the capacity to remain centered in your own love and wisdom, no matter what happens around you. Where peace awaits you, the present moment is the only moment that truly exists, and it's where you find true peace. Louise Hay always reminded us that when you're trapped in the past, reliving hurts and regrets, or when you're anxious about the future, worried about what may or may not happen, you lose the beauty and power of now. This moment, exactly as it is, contains everything you need. When you learn to fully inhabit the present, you discover that most of your problems are creations of the mind, projections and memories, not current realities. In this exact moment, while you breathe, while your heart beats, everything is okay. And this realization is profoundly liberating. According to Louise Hay, the practice of being present begins with breath awareness. Your breath is an anchor that brings you back to now whenever you get lost in thoughts about the past or future. When you feel anxiety arising, pause and breathe deeply 3 times, bringing all your attention to the sensation of air going in and out. When you catch yourself ruminating about something that happened yesterday or years ago, gently bring your attention back to what's happening now. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? This simple practice has the power to completely transform your life experience. because it frees you from the prison of repetitive thoughts and connects you with the living reality of the present moment. Thomas was a successful businessman who constantly lived worried about the future. He planned obsessively, anticipated problems, and rarely could relax and enjoy what he had achieved. His mind was always 3 steps ahead, and he completely lost the joy of the present. When he discovered Louise Hay's teachings about the power of now, Thomas realized he was wasting his life on worries that most of the time never materialized. He began practicing mindfulness, bringing his attention to the present moment several times a day. During meals, he truly savored the food. During conversations, he truly listened. And gradually, Thomas discovered a peace and joy he had forgotten existed. His life didn't change externally, but his experience of it transformed completely. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or not planning the future. It means not allowing them to steal your peace now. You can learn from the past without being trapped in it. You can plan the future without getting lost in anxiety about it. Louise Hay taught us that power is always in the present moment because it's the only moment when you can act, choose, change. When you're fully present, you access your inner wisdom, your intuition, your capacity to respond to life with clarity and love. Allow yourself to affirm, I live fully in the present moment. I find peace and joy in the now. These words anchor you in the reality of the present and remind you that this moment is enough. You are enough. Everything is well. The peace you seek isn't somewhere in the future, when you've achieved your goals or solved all your problems. Peace is here, now, available to you in every conscious breath. Louise Hay lived this truth and showed us that we can choose peace at any moment, simply by returning our attention to the present. When you practice this consistently, something magical happens. You stop living on autopilot and begin to truly live. You notice the beauty around you, people's kindness, the small joys that were always there but you didn't see. And you discover that life, when lived fully in the present, is much richer, more vibrant, more full of possibilities than you ever imagined. So breathe deeply, dear one, and be here now. This moment is your present, your gift, your opportunity to experience life in all its fullness. Your healing practice, journaling, exercise with affirmations, letters to your soul. Now that you've absorbed so many powerful insights about emotional healing, the time has come to put this knowledge into practice in a deeply personal and transformative way. This exercise combines the wisdom of journaling with the power of Louise Hay's affirmations, creating a sacred space for you to connect with your inner truth. How to do it? Find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. Get a notebook or journal that will be your sacred healing space. Light a candle if you wish. Put on soft music and breathe deeply 3 times, bringing your attention completely to the present moment. Now, you're going to write 3 letters to yourself. Letter 1, to your inner child. Write a letter to the child you were. Speak to her with all the tenderness and compassion you have in your heart. Tell her everything she needed to hear when she was little, but perhaps didn't hear. Assure her that she's loved, that she's enough, that she doesn't need to be perfect. End the letter with 3 positive affirmations that begin with I am or I deserve, written as if they were this child's words to herself. For example, I am worthy of love. I deserve to be happy. I am enough exactly as I am. Letter 2 of forgiveness. Choose someone, it can be yourself or another person whom you need to forgive. Write a letter expressing everything you feel without censorship. Let the anger, pain, disappointment flow onto the paper. Then, in the same letter, declare your forgiveness. Not because the person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. End with affirmations of release, such as, I release all resentment. I choose peace. I am free to move forward. Letter 3 of gratitude and intention. Write a letter of gratitude to yourself, acknowledging everything you've already overcome, all the strength you have, all the wonderful qualities you possess. Then declare your intentions for the future. How do you want to feel? What kind of life do you want to create? End with powerful affirmations in the present tense, as if they were already true. I live with joy and purpose. I attract love and abundance. I trust my life's journey. After writing the 3 letters, read them out loud to yourself, allowing the words to penetrate deeply into your heart. You can keep these letters and reread them whenever you need comfort, guidance, or a reminder of your inner power. This exercise is a practice of deep self-love that Louise Hay would love, because it combines awareness, emotional expression, forgiveness, and positive affirmations in a complete healing journey. Practice this exercise whenever you feel the need to reconnect with yourself, to process difficult emotions, or to reaffirm your commitment to your emotional well-being. Every time you write, you're planting seeds of healing and transformation in your soul. Your journey begins now, dear one. You've just received precious tools to transform your emotional life. Every insight that touched your heart, every affirmation that resonated in your soul, every moment of recognition you had during this video is a seed of healing planted within you. Now, it's time to nurture these seeds with love, patience, and daily practice. Remember that healing is not a destination. It's a gentle journey. You walk one step at a time. Be compassionate with yourself in this process. Celebrate every small victory, every moment when you choose love instead of fear, acceptance instead of criticism. You have within you everything you need to create a full, balanced, emotional life filled with joy. Trust your journey, trust your power, and above all, trust the love that you are. You are a precious soul, and the world needs your light. Go forward with courage and tenderness, knowing that every step you take toward your emotional wellness is an act of deep love for yourself and for everyone around you.